Hello and welcome to Mission West Virginia, brought to you by the West Virginia Library Commission and Mission West Virginia. I'm your host, Rachel Kinder, Director of the Frameworks Program at Mission West Virginia. Today's show guests are Amanda Ambergy, Bridge Mentor, and Malia Penn, Think Educator. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
So, what I'd like to do is have a minute for you each to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your background, like what are your degrees and experience and what landed you at Mission West Virginia in your roles. You want to go first, Mandy?
Sure. So my experience has always been education. My degree is in early childhood education. I knew from a young age that I wanted to teach and work with youth. And I landed this job, just kind of, it fell into my lap, and honestly, I'm so happy it did because I feel like this is what I was meant to do. I was designed to serve kids and youth, and it's been a really wild and exciting journey. I'm happy to be here.
And because you're not actually from West Virginia, right?
I am not. I am originally from Michigan, so
you traveled far to land in the right spot.
I did.
And Malia, how did you get your start?
Well, I have a degree in health science and family sciences from Marshall. I've actually been in the program for about 4 years. This will be my fourth year in the school system with this program. And then just like Mandy, it just kind of fell into my lap. I saw it and I saw the opportunity and I was like, that sounds like something I want to do. And I did it. And it's been great ever since.
You guys are both great additions to the Mission West Virginia team, and the reason I wanted to have both of you on the show is because you work for different programs, but you are both with the programs that are in our public schools. Mm-hmm. And both programs have staff in the public schools in different roles, so I thought we would do a little back-to-school show and talk about how that works, because right now that's kind of the big activity at our office is sending people back into the school systems for the new school year. So Mandy, will you talk about the Bridge and just kind of give the audience an overview of that program?
Sure. So we work in the high school. We work with around 30 to 35 kids who are in foster care, kinship care.
Per mentor, right?
Yes, per mentor. They kind of just place us in a school that we're familiar with in the area. And we get these kids on our caseload and we normalize the high school experience for them. We help guide them through their education. We help plan for what comes after high school. And we're kind of just there as a support system and a cheerleader. I mean, that's pretty much what I do is I cheer my kids on every day and just get them to that finish line. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Malia, talk a little bit about the Think program, which is also in schools, in public schools, but you're not stationed at one particular school.
No, so Think stands for Teaching Health Instead of Nagging Kids, so it's like a fun little acronym. So we do a relationship curriculum, basically. Mm-hmm. So we go into the schools and we teach a couple different curriculums. So no, I'm not based in one school. I actually go to different schools. So I work in Kanawha County, so I go to different schools within Kanawha County.
And your programming focuses on, tell me if I don't have the verbiage right, healthy relationships and also preventing teen pregnancy?
Yeah, so we really focus on teen pregnancy prevention, STD prevention, HIV prevention. We do a little bit of youth development and positive, healthy relationship building.
And we were pretty excited to make the news over the summer that the teen birth rate has gone down in West Virginia again, right?
Yeah, again. We've been we've been doing this since 2007, and our program has, we believe, helped lower the teen birth rate.
Right, which is amazing.
Which is awesome. Yes.
Yeah. So, Mandy, will you talk about what your specific role is, kind of what your day-to-day, I know it's different every day, maybe your week-to-week, what your job looks like?
So it really varies from week to week. Each kid, we set aside goals, and every student has a different set of goals that they want to work towards. Some kids want to work on their attendance. Some kids want to work on their behavior. The majority of them are academics and getting those good grades, turning in those assignments. So our week can vary from being in the principal's office, talking to the principal about a fight that broke out between your student and someone else, or it could be coaching a kid through their algebra class, trying to figure out what kind of resources we can get to help them in a subject they're struggling with. Like I said, with the post-secondary planning today, I just applied a kid for college, and it took a half hour. And it's really exciting. And I laid out all the funding for her because she was like, I don't think I can afford to go to college. And I was like, yes, you can. So we sat down and we mapped it out for her. And after, guiding her through that and showing her that it was possible, we sat down and we picked a college. And this is just the first of many for her, I think, that she's going to apply to.
Wow.
But honestly, day to day, it's very different.
And you have an office in the school, right?
I do. I have an office. It's not big enough because my kids seem to crowd it quite often. But yeah, I usually have 2 to 3 kids in there every hour.
Wow. And Malia, your specific role is to kind of go to the school you're assigned to and teach, right, for a set period of time?
Yeah, so my whole job is to go into middle schools and high schools and teach a healthy relationship curriculum. So we have a couple different curriculums that we go with. So the first one that we're going to talk about is with the middle schools, we do a curriculum called Positive Potential. So Positive Potential is a week-long curriculum with all grades in middle school, so 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's a week long, like I said, and it really focuses on like anti-bullying, self-confidence. It focuses on a lot of different topics. We are in there for quite a bit. And
now,
then,
how do kids get to you? Are you in someone's class?
oh yeah, so we go into the health classes of middle schools and high schools.
Gotcha.
Yes, so for high schools, we go to their health classes and we do a 3-week curriculum. It's about 13-ish days, so 45 minutes each. So about 3 weeks. That curriculum is called Love Notes. Love Notes has a whole lot of different topics. So we talk about communication, we talk about teen pregnancy prevention, we talk about STDs, we talk about abusive relationships, and we just talk about like relationships in general. So one of the things I like to tell my kids is that we're not just talking about relationships in like a significant others. We're talking about relationships with everybody. So anybody you talk to on a normal day basis, you're in some kind of relationship with them. So your teachers, your coworkers, your family, anybody you talk to, you're in some kind of relationship with them. So we want to make sure that you're building a positive relationship with everybody that you are talking to on a regular basis.
And I think what we see regularly with all the kids we're working with is that not all these kids have examples of healthy relationships in their lives.
Absolutely. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I believe that our job is fantastic, is that we kind of show a baseline of what a healthy relationship could look like. If you think about it, maybe your parents or whoever watches you or their caregivers are like their first relationship that they see.
Right.
If that relationship is not a healthy one, they might think that's a normal relationship. So showing the signs of what an abusive relationship could be, showing the signs of what a healthy relationship could be is really beneficial to the kids.
And all of what you're teaching is evidence-based, right?
Yes, everything is evidence-based that we teach. Mm-hmm.
So summer always gets kind of crazy at our office because people are coming and going, and sometimes people are in the office more, or in the case of our bridge program, you guys are actually off for 6 weeks in the summer?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll have you go first, Mandy. Talk about, you wrapped up the school year, and then kind of how does it go from there?
Like the wrap-up part. So we compile data throughout the year that we use to help fund our program, and we're also evidence-based.
That's right.
And we use that data to back up what we're doing in the schools so that we can get more traction, because we are really doing a good thing in the schools. But the evidence really takes it up a notch.
It does.
Like once you put that evidence based on any kind of program, that gets the bells ringing. So basically the wrap up is a lot of data collection and inputting and writing notes and that kind of stuff, and just wrapping up the year in that way. But when we come back, we're like this week I spent the entire week researching new kids for my caseload. So we get these referrals, we come in and we go through them and we see what kids are eligible for the program. We interview them, we make sure they're a good fit, and
Because you lost kids to graduation, right?
we lose kids every year to graduation.
Which is
And
a great problem.
just with the nature of the work that we do lose kids over the summer for many different reasons,
Because you're working with kids who are in foster care, in living with grandparents, relatives. So
Yeah.
I imagine kids move, change schools, that
Yeah.
type of thing.
We also get, I collected a bunch of backpacks and school supplies over the summer and then brought them to school and gave them out. We also make sure our kids, if they need clothes, we hook them up with the appropriate resources to make sure that every kid on our caseload is taken care of to the best of their ability.
And you had mentioned normalizing the high school experience as
Yes.
part of what the bridge does.
Yeah.
And not everyone may know what that means, but clothes are definitely part of that. Can you talk about that?
So it's so simple. You don't really think about it. Yearbooks, prom, homecoming, involvement in sports, student council, scholarship applications, applying for school. These are things that these kids don't have, well, some of them, I don't want to say all of them don't have access to, but this is just an opportunity for us to give those opportunities to, you know, the kids that we serve. There are many times when I sit down at the senior awards assembly and I think about all of my kids and the ones that, if I wasn't there to push them to apply for these scholarships or present them with this information, they wouldn't be up there receiving the award and being proud in front of all their peers and stuff. So when you say normalizes, it's anything from like a yearbook to, you know, homecoming queen. You know, just providing experiences and materials so that they can be the best versions of themselves.
That's a great way to put it. And sometimes I think it's a pair of shoes, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's a scholarship application.
Yeah.
And they have equal importance sometimes
Yeah.
in different ways.
Yeah, I just got a pair of non-slip work shoes for McDonald's so that he could continue to work at McDonald's.
That's
And,
awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
And Malia, you didn't get the time off this summer because you're in the public school during the school year, but Think can actually be pretty active in the summer too. Can you tell us what your summer looked like?
Yeah, so like you said, we do do some stuff during the summer. Sorry.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of things during the summer. So this year, I actually went to Camac in Huntington, and I did some programming at a 4-H camp. So we did a lot of different things throughout the summer.
But Camac is residential, right?
Yes, yeah. So we go to a lot of different institutions, not just middle schools and high schools as well.
And I believe that we have been, sometimes are in juvenile detention facilities. I don't know if you particular have taught there.
I have not been to one, but I know that we do go to a couple.
So I know that summers are a really good time when, you know, public schools are closed, that we can kind of catch the kids at facilities. And then 4-H camp?
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
So I actually went to a state 4-H camp this year, and we did a program with them. So we did a LEO. A LEO is a leisure educational opportunity. So it's
Okay.
basically a glorified free time.
Okay.
So I would hold my LEO and I would say, if anybody wants to come and talk about their relationships or get some advice or just talk about their life, feel free to come to my LEO. And I had so many kids that wanted to just come and talk about the relationships in their lives. I probably had like 20 kids for every LEO. And this is a free time that they are picking that for themselves. Like it's a 4-H camp, so they can
Right.
go kayaking, they can go folk dancing. There's so many things they could do, but they chose to come and talk about the relationships in their life.
That's
which is
so
really cool.
interesting. And so are these teens?
Yes. So we reach with that. We teach teens. So we are in middle schools and high schools. So anywhere between, I think it's 14 through 18.
Okay. And so is it a lot of like romantic relationships? I would assume boyfriends, girlfriends, or is it other relationships too that they want to talk about?
Yeah. So we do talk about romantic relationships, and we do put that across. But I like to tell the kids that we're going to talk about relationships with everybody you talk to. So coworkers, teachers, we want to make sure that you're maintaining a healthy relationship with your friends, with your parents, with your teachers.
The kind of joke around the office is they'll overhear something and be like, I wish I had learned that earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we all navigate relationships every day. And then the word around the office is kickoff, Think has a big kickoff. And that was, 2 days, 3 days?
It was
before
a
school started?
3-day kickoff, yes. So we're basically just getting everything together to make sure that we have everything getting to go. So one of the things that we talk about is like what sites we're going to go to and where we're going to be. And my job right now is just connection. So I'm reaching out to the health teachers that I've already been with, and I'm reaching out to health teachers that are new. So currently I'm at Riverside High School, and I need to meet with them to talk about their new health teachers, because they all have new health teachers. So I need to go in and make myself known. It's like, hey, we normally come in, we do a healthy relationship curriculum. Are you cool with us coming back in? And most of the times they love our curriculum, so
That's great.
they want us to come in.
So let's see. So you're pretty much kind of rolling with the beginning of the school year, right? I mean, I think
Yes.
at this point, every kid is back to school in West Virginia.
I believe so,
Okay.
yeah.
What are you each most looking forward to for the school year?
I love my post-secondary planning. Like I love mapping out, like I've already started it. I tell my seniors on day one, this is how the year's gonna look. You're gonna do what I say. We're gonna all be okay. So I just love at the end calculating all the grants and scholarships to see how close we can get to the, if they want to go to college, see how close we can get to the tuition. It's my favorite. I love it. It's my favorite thing. If you ever need any help, let me know.
Just anybody, right?
Yeah.
You're becoming an expert.
I guess.
And Malia, what are you most looking forward to?
I'm really excited to reach more students. So this year, Think is expanding, so we actually get to reach 6,000 more students this year. We're going to be in the same counties, but we luckily get to be in more schools. So I get to add a couple more middle schools to my roster, so I'm really excited about getting into more schools.
That's awesome.
Do you prefer middle school, high school? Do you have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite, just
Okay.
because I really like the middle schoolers for their own special way. They sometimes are clueless and they want to know more information, and they really want to know it. So I really love that, and they're super special. But high schoolers are special on a whole nother level. They kind of know information, and they want to make sure that the information that they have is true, and they just might think that they know everything. And it's fun to go in and be like, "Are you sure that's the best thing that for you to do?" You know. So it's nice to go in and talk to both.
So it sounds like with high schoolers, not just teaching, but also maybe kind of misdirecting some bad information. I think we have all had that experience of getting bad information as teenagers.
Yeah, definitely. I've had to debunk a couple of myths in the classroom. One of my favorite myths that I had to debunk was that they thought that drinking a lot of Mountain Dew reduces your sperm count.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Fact.
That fact is technically not true. No, there's no caffeine in the world that will debunk that is any type of contraception, really.
Wow.
I always hear about question box. Do you have a question box, right? In
Yes,
your
I
classroom?
do.
And is that something you answer the questions at the end of the curriculum?
Yeah, so I'm somebody that keeps my question box throughout the whole time, because they're going to have questions about everything. They're going to have questions about how you do a certain communication technique. So it's important to have your question box out through the whole time and then answering that through the end so that they have all their questions answered.
Nice. And it can be anonymous. That's the point of the box,
Yes, it
right?
can be anonymous. You'd be surprised of how many kids actually want to know the information. And they think that if I know it, if I don't know it, then no one else does. So I actually get a lot of questions out and during class time, not during just anonymous questions.
That's great because teenagers aren't known for being the most open. So I think that means they are seeing a connection to you.
Yeah, I definitely think it has something to do with me being a guest speaker. Like maybe they won't ask these things to their actual teacher because they might be embarrassed. But I think me being a guest speaker where they won't actually have to see me again, they're just like, oh, okay, I'll ask her this question and I'll never have to see her again.
That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense till they run into you at Kroger. And then
Yeah,
it's a whole
exactly.
nother.
Yeah.
Well, can I add to that?
Yeah,
though?
please do.
I honestly think, when we're both in the same school, Bridge Mentor and I Think Educator really solidifies the programming. And there have been many times when I've had my Bridge students come in and say, I really connect with
wow.
the Think Educator. I'm really involved in this. I want to ask this question. And we kind of work together as a team to support the kids. I think it's really cool.
I've heard a lot of good stories about hey, so-and-so is here in this school and they're together for this couple of weeks. And
Yeah.
So, Mandy, I think one of the things I kind of skipped over was you talked about, your seniors graduate and then you have to fill your caseload, which is 33 to 35.
Yep.
That's the magic number. We don't have science behind that, but that just seems to be the sweet spot. How do you qualify to be on your caseload, and then how do you find those kids?
So I'm really excited this year because I have 15 spots open, and it's the largest amount of spots I have to fill since I started in Hoover. So I'm really excited about it. Basically, the only qualifier for the program is you need to be in kinship care or foster care. And kinship care means you need to live with a family member other than your birth parents.
Okay.
So there is a lot of kids in the state of West Virginia that fall into that category.
So many we can't really even
Yeah.
track the data.
And I think that's why this program was started, is because a lot of those kids in that category seem to fall through the cracks. So I get referrals from students, I get referrals from siblings, I get referrals from teachers, I get referrals from the counselors. This year we ran reports on the system on Weavis to find kids that way, so that
Okay.
we can, look, and I map them out. This is how I do it. I map them out, I research all of my kids, and we go through an interview process. We make sure that this is something that they want, because not all kids want assistance, not all kids
Sure.
want the help or the support. So we make sure that it's a good fit for them and for us, and then that's it. They just say yep, and then you're like, okay. And I have kids who are not in foster care or kinship care that want to come in and be a part
bet.
of my program.
I
They're like,
bet.
Mandy, can you get me? And I'm like, nope. Love you, but no.
And Malia, you pretty much just go into classes now, but students can opt out, right, if their parents choose that this child would not participate.
Yeah, so at the beginning, we do say that you are welcome to opt out, but that's something for really the teacher to decide, and they have to decide where to place those kids. But that's something, again, that students will talk with their teacher and their parents about.
And that's really not anything I hear much about. Is mostly we have schools wanting the programming, we have students wanting to be part of the bridge, which is a great issue, a great problem.
I've never had a
Yes.
student want to opt out of the class, so
Wow.
I think that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. So let's see. You talked about. I know my next question. Sorry. So you're stationed in the school. You have an office, and you're in and out of different schools. But do you always feel like a guest, or do you feel that you are part of the school where you are? I know how it works for you.
That's my family at Hoover. We were just talking about it today, about how it's just been so nice they've welcomed me with open arms. In the beginning, it took some figuring out and working out what my role was within the school, and just being present, being smiling and, helpful has really helped, all of that. And I think everybody knows me in the school because I am loud and I am friendly, and but I love it. I love my school family, and I'm happy to be part of Hoover, and I think that helps too when the Think program comes in. Or if you have a bridge mentor in a school that Think program's not in, it's a good opportunity to, you know what I mean, or vice versa. Oh, we've had Think in our school for 6 years. We would
Right.
love to add another program because Mission West Virginia is pretty amazing.
And I feel like on the Think side, they do kind of try to keep you at the same schools year after year. You kind of have your areas, right?
Yeah, we kind of have our areas a little bit. So right now, my current area, or last year, my current area was like the Riverside, DuPont area. So that was really cool to be able to just be with the same students. So, like I said, I've been in teaching for about 4 years. So I had some middle school students come up to the high school and be like, "We had you last year." A lot of times they don't remember names just because we are not there for too long. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm the worst with names myself, but. They call me the Jolly Rancher girl because we come in and we bring Jolly Ranchers, and that's how a lot of times we get students to talk to us, because our curriculum is very communication based. Like, we want to know their opinions and we want to know what they know, so it's very communication based.
And that's kind of the bribe for answer a question, right?
Yeah, you want to answer a question? I'll give you a Jolly Rancher. You know an answer? I'll give you a Jolly Rancher.
And
Yeah.
our poor postman delivers those in bulk
Yeah.
because at some point Think decided this is the official candy, you can keep in your car, it doesn't melt. I don't know what the factor was, but we give out Jolly Ranchers.
I always say if we brought in chocolate, they wouldn't get any because I would take all of it.
Oh, so
Yeah.
maybe you're the reason.
I'm the reason. Yeah.
And I always like to ask Think educators, like, what is your favorite? I know you teach a couple different curriculums, but what is your favorite lesson?
I have a couple different favorite lessons. So one of my very favorite is Lesson 4. Lesson 4 is a background of what a relationship could look like and a start of a relationship. So we really talk about the chemicals that happen in your brain when you first meet somebody and you first fall in love. You get this kind of chemical high. So it's really cool to kind of like talk about how you might have these rose-colored glasses on and you might not be seeing the person for who they really are. So maybe it's a good idea to take your relationship slow so you can let your chemical brain slow down a little bit so you can see that person. You can see the person who they really are. I also really love talking about the contraception lessons because they are very interested and they want to know. They want to know what's the best. They want to know why it's the best. They want to know. I mean, there's no birth control that is best for anybody, but
Right.
it
But you have the
depends on the
facts.
person. But
Yeah.
we present the facts of this birth control does this birth control does that. So they really want to know that information.
I bet you really have to know your stuff on that one.
You know, I do say I know a lot of facts about birth control. I can talk. I can talk for hours about birth control facts. Yeah.
That's a nice secret superpower.
Yeah.
Not everyone would expect that.
So if you need to know about a contraception, let me know.
It's a really good skill. All right, so as we wrap up, I would just kind of like to know, like, what makes you happy to show up at your job every day? Like, because it's not all graduation time. It's not all like, what kind of keeps you going and keeps you excited to show up at that school every day?
For me, it's when I open my door and I see that first smiling face coming from Mandy. Good morning. So it just
That's what keeps you going.
they're amazing. Like these kids, I love what I do, and they're amazing.
What makes you happy to show up at your job every day? Like,
We have the Think staff is amazing, and we can go to anybody about any problem. We're just amazing as a team.
and that's kind of a disclaimer we give during interviews, is it's a very social office.
We are a very social office. Yes.
We really like our jobs and we really like each other. And the reason I think we can get away with it is that like we're really effective. Like the work gets done. And I think like the teamwork is pretty amazing. And you guys are a great demonstration of that because we've got two different programs here doing different things. And you guys work together great when the opportunity arises. So Think is expanding, adding 6,000 students across, I think, 18 counties.
Yes,
so that's
super exciting.
And the Bridge is always working on expansion, and we've been in the news recently because we added another mentor in Wood County. So just kind of people should keep their eyes out for that because there's just expansion all the time. So it's really exciting. If anybody wants more information about the Bridge or the Think program, they can reach out to Mission West Virginia at missionwv.org. There are info forms on there is probably the quickest way to reach us. And if you want information on foster care adoption, the same way, 866-CALL-MWV. This has been another episode of Mission West Virginia, and we hope to catch you next month. Thank you.